hello to CPAC. We've been coming here a long time, and it's gotten bigger and better and more beautiful, and thank you very much. It's a big election going on today. You probably have read a little bit about it. And I'm supposed to be in a slightly different location, not too far away, but nevertheless, it's different. And I said, no, I'm sorry, I have to be at CPAC today. I have to be there. And I want to thank Matt and Mercedes Schlapp, two great people, along with the entire staff. Thank you very much, Mercedes. Thanks, Matt. The entire staff of the American Conservative Union, that's what it is. It's a conservative union. It's also a union of common sense. I've been saying it more and more. You know, conservative, it's common sense. And I don't know, maybe we'll have to put that, Matt, on the bottom of that. A group of people with common sense to save our country and make America great again. It's pretty simple, isn't it, huh? We have a tremendous group of dignitaries, leaders, world leaders, and local leaders, but we have from all over the world people with us right now at this moment in the room. And I'll just mention a few. President of Argentina, who's gotten a lot of publicity. He's gotten a lot. He's a great gentleman. You know, he's MAGA. He's MAGA. Make Argentina great again. It's true. No, and he said, I am MAGA. And then I realized he's one of the few who can really do it well. Make Argentina great again. Javier Milei. Thank you very much, Javier. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to have him with us. Senator J.D. Vance. He's doing a fantastic job. Thank you, J.D. Congressman Corey Mills. Thank you. A very powerful competitor of mine. He is a quick one. He's a smart one. Vivek. Where's Vivek? Ramaswamy. Thank you. He endorsed me. When he endorsed me, I said, that's a great endorsement. Thank you, Vivek. Former senator and somebody that's been very nice to me over the years. I don't know why, but he has. Rick Santorum. Thank you, Rick. Where is Rick? Thank you. Thank you, Rick. Former acting attorney general, somebody that's been very loyal to the administration and to his country, Matt Whitaker. Thank you. Matt, thank you very much. The former chair of my Council of Economic Advisors, Kevin Hassett, with a nice smile, always has that beautiful smile. Somebody that very shortly will be a United States Senator, Kari Lake. Where is Kari Lake? Where is Kari Lake? Wow, that's a pretty good hand you just got, Kari, I'll tell you. Well, she was very close to being governor, but unfortunately, a lot of the voting machines just didn't work. They weren't working that particular day. The lines were miles long. They weren't working too well that day, Kari, but it's one of those things. And then the judges said, well, not our fault. We better straighten out our elections pretty fast, because otherwise we're not going to have a country any longer. That's true. Thank you, Kari, very much. U.S. Senate candidate from Virginia, Hung Cao. Whoa, he's got support. He's got some support. Wow. Wow. A man who is tough and smart and loves our country. He's the head of America First Legal. He's won a lot of cases, I can tell you, and he's a real guy. He's a real patriot. Stephen Miller, my friend. Stephen Miller. He's around here someplace. There's a lot of people in this room. Thank you, Stephen. President of the Vox Party in Spain, Santiago Abascal. Thank you very much. Thank you, Santiago. Great to meet you. They've made a lot of progress, too. He'll be number 2 and number 1 very shortly, it seems like. That's what I'm reading. Let's see if, you know, a lot of it's fake news, so we can't go by everything. But that's what I'm hearing. Federal Deputy from Brazil, Eduardo Bolsonaro. Eduardo, wherever you are. North Carolina GOP chair, and I think he'll be probably going to a national position very shortly, Michael Whatley, fantastic guy. And we all know and love a man who great bravery in the administration, really a brave person. He went through hell and back, and he beat everybody. He just beat them along the way. Rick Grinnell. Thank you, Rick. The president of Moms for America, Kimberly Fletchner. That's a good group. They just gave me their award. Thank you for that wonderful award. How about Moms for America picked Donald Trump as the man of the year? Can you believe this? Have I made progress? Ah, boy. And a man, single greatest advertiser and purchaser of advertising in the history of America, Mike Lindell. The greatest. An incredible lawyer, one of the most respected lawyers in the country, John Cole. John, thank you. Thank you, John. And Stephen Moore, we all know he's got great predictions if Trump wins. If Trump doesn't win, he says it's going to go bad. It's going to go bad fast. Stephen Moore, highly, highly respected economist. Thank you, Stephen. And a man who I've had respect for certainly a long time. I won't tell you how long, too long. But somebody that I've listened to over the years, even when he was on CNN. That's when people used to watch CNN a lot. He always had the #1 show. He's an incredible, they start booing. I agree with you. But he's an incredible guy, an incredible mind that loves our country, and he fights like hell for our country, the great Lou Dobbs. Where's Lou? Thank you, Lou. You look good, Lou. And we have Tom Fitton. We have so many people. Tom Fitton. Where's Tom Fitton? Stand up, Tom Fitton. Stand up, Steve Bannon. Where's Steve Bannon? Where's Steve? Where is Steve? Stand up, Bannon. Where the hell is Bannon? Oh, he still looks good? Tom always looks good. I don't know. I think he does that weightlifting stuff, Tom, right? But Bannon looks good. We love Steve. We love them all. We love them all. We have so many others in the audience, and I want to say hello, but we have to get down to business because I want to win the award as the best, whatever the hell they call it, the best speaker, I think they say. Who made the best speech? And if I keep introducing people, I'm not going to win it this year. I've won it like 9 years in a row, right? I got to get going. So thank you, everybody, for being here. We appreciate it very much. We appreciate it very much. Gorka, did I see the Gorka man? Yes, stand up, Gorka. Quick, get up. How good is he? Sebastian? Seb. They call him Seb. I call him Sebastian. Thank you, Sebastian. I just spotted you. It's lucky you're nice and tall. 4 years ago, I told you that if crooked Joe Biden got to the White House, our borders would be abolished. Our middle class would be decimated, and our communities would be plagued by bloodshed, chaos, and violent crime. We were right about everything. So believe me when I offer you another warning, and we've been right about so much, just about everything. If crooked Joe Biden and his thugs win in 2024, the worst is yet to come. Our country will go and sink to levels that were unimaginable. And just think about it. With 4 more years of Biden, the hordes of illegal aliens stampeding across our borders will exceed 40 to 50 million people. Medicare, Social Security, health care, and public education will buckle and collapse. It will collapse as sure as you're sitting or standing there. It will collapse. Our economy will be starved of energy by crooked Joe's vindictive Green New Scam. It's a Green New Scam. It'll be the destruction of our country. It is indeed a scam, and most of them know it. Some of them, the fools, believe it, but most of them know it. Millions of manufacturing jobs will be choked off into extinction, and you'll have constant blockouts and blackouts and rampant inflation. Ruthless gangs will explode even more into the suburbs. And when they talk about suburban women, they're going to love me so much. They're going to say, oh, I wish we had that guy back. The gangs will be invading your territory, I can tell you that. While weaponized law enforcement hunts for conservatives and people of faith, religious, Hamas and Antifa will terrorize our streets while their brutal ideology, and it is brutal indeed, it is brutal and horrible like nobody's ever seen before, takes over our schools. China will dominate us, not just economically, but militarily, and that's what they want, and that's where they're heading, but they weren't heading there with me. I took over $400 billion out of China, and they weren't too happy about it, and then all of a sudden, we had the China virus. Now I happen to think it was incompetence, but a lot of people disagree with that. And a declining, crooked Joe Biden. He's the crookedest, most incompetent president in the history of our country. Will soon have us losing World War III. We won't even be in World War III. We'll be losing World War III with weapons the likes of which nobody has ever seen before. These are the stakes of this election. Our country is being destroyed, and the only thing standing between you and its obliteration is me. It's true. It's true. Viktor Orban, somebody I respect greatly. A lot of people respect him. Tough guy, smart guy. He made the statement recently. He said, you bring back Trump, it'll all stop. They all listened to Trump. They respected Trump. He actually said it stronger than he said they were afraid of Trump. I don't want people to be afraid of me. But he said China was afraid, Russia was afraid. They were all afraid of Trump. Bring him back, and it'll all go back. And I will tell you, we had things at a level that nobody's ever seen before. We had no wars. We had defeated ISIS. We got rid of the worst terrorists in the world. You know that. And solely defeated, we took 100% of ISIS gone. And then we had no wars for 4 years. We had no wars. First time in 72 years that happened. No wars. Hillary Clinton, during one of our debates, if you remember that, she said, look at him, listen to him. He's going to cause wars. We'll be in wars. No, no. It turned out that I was able to stop wars from happening and brought our troops back home. We got out of these ridiculous, endless wars, killing people on both sides, costing trillions of dollars. Crooked Joe and his henchmen have you trapped, and it's an express train barreling toward servitude and to ruin. It's moving at a speed that Joe doesn't understand, because Joe actually, I don't think he knows what the hell's going on, to be honest with you, but he's surrounded by some very bad fascists. A vote for Trump is your ticket back to freedom. It's your passport out of tyranny, and it's your only escape from Joe Biden and his gang's fast track to hell. And in many ways, we're living in hell right now. Because the fact is, Joe Biden is a threat to democracy. He really is a threat to democracy. I stand before you today not only as your past and hopefully future president, but as a proud political dissident. I am a dissident. Remember this, I've been indicted more than Alphonse Capone, Mr. President. Do you know who that is? Even the president just said, I do. Scarface, Al Capone. If he had dinner with you and he didn't like the smile in your face, he thought you were mocking him by smiling, you would be dead before you got home and said hello to your wife. And Alphonse Capone, I got indicted 4 times by this gang of thugs for nothing. Or, as I say respectfully to the people from foreign countries, for bullshit. Thank you very much. Thank you. You know, it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous what's going on. They've weaponized government. They've weaponized the DOJ, the FBI. We've never had anything like this in this country, and it's a phenomenon that's taken place many times, but in third world countries and in banana republics, not in the United States of America. So it's very dangerous, and they are indeed a threat to democracy. And I'm here to unleash this captive nation from Joe Biden and his gang of very bad people, very sick people, smart people, intelligent people, but they're hell-bent on the destruction of American freedom. It's happening in our country, and it's so obvious. I have people come to see me from other lands where this has gone on, especially in South America, Latin America, and they'll say, the same thing happened to my country 20 years ago. It was the same thing. It's all happening, and if we don't stop it, this is it. 2024. If we don't stop it, this is our last train. If we don't stop it, we're going to have a country. It won't even be a country. You want to know the truth? It won't even be a country. It's breaking up. If we can break out of the Biden nightmare, and it is a nightmare, he's the most incompetent person. Can you imagine this man who can't walk off a stage? He can't find the stairs. Where are they? Where are they, he asks. Where? He makes a 2-minute speech because that's about the only, they couldn't get any more fuel than that. Whatever happened to the cocaine they found in the White Houses? Where is it? And by the way, I have to say, because I have such respect for this audience, and CPAC, I would have never spoken, and I never did, about him because of my respect for the office of the president. I have great respect for that office. But once I got indicted the first time, remember that? I got indicted, and I got impeached twice. We won that, and we'll win all of this stuff. But once I got indicted, I said, well, now the gloves have to come off because they did something. Those, you know, the fake news, before these indictments came, the fake news, almost every one of, well, he'll never be indicted. You don't do that. He was a very popular president. You know, I got more votes than any sitting president in history. Got almost 75 million votes. Substantially more than any other sitting president has gotten. And they would say, oh, no, he'll never be indicted. These are people that, some of them truly have Trump derangement syndrome. And they were saying, he'll never be indicted. They won't do that. They'll never. He did it. They did it. They actually, and it was all done by him in order to go after your political opponent so that you can damage him enough that you can maybe win. But it's had the reverse effect because our poll numbers have gone through the roof. Can you believe this? They've gone through the roof. That wasn't supposed to happen. And it's probably never happened before. I've watched over the years as politicians get indicted, and they start by going to a microphone about 2 minutes after it happens. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be resigning from office today, and I will go home with my family, my friends, and I will fight for my name. Well, that's the last you ever hear from that poor guy. And with me, we have a big voice. You can see by this crowd today, look at that, standing room only. They're all over the place. They have 3 rooms like this. And I have a voice that I can explain it all, like the laptop from hell when they impeached me. And it turned out I was right after going through all that. And now they say, you know, we shouldn't have impeached him. He was right because the laptop from hell showed that I was 100% right. All of these things, we were right on all of it. But we're in a very bad path. It's a very, very dangerous path that we are on as a country because the other side, which I find tends to be a much nicer group of people, and maybe foolishly so, but the other side can also get nasty, and at some point they probably will have to do that because we cannot let this weaponization go on against the Republican Party, against religion, against conservatives. We cannot let this continue to happen. So if we can break out of this Biden nightmare, it's a nightmare. Our country is no longer respected. We're laughed at all over the world. We have to break out of the nightmare that we're in. And we have it in the grasp to make America richer and safer and stronger and prouder and more beautiful than ever before. I think we have a final shot at it, but if we don't do well in this next election, or if they cheat enough that they can steal it, which is, I think, the only way they can win. Who the hell can win when you have 16 million people pouring into our country from places unknown? We have countries that nobody ever even heard of, from all over the world. Yesterday they had many people caught from prisons in, you remember this, right? Prisons in the Congo. Let me tell you, the only good thing is they make our prisoners and our bad gang members look like very nice people by comparison. That's the one good thing. All of a sudden, we're starting to like our prisoners and our horrible, violent criminals because they're nicer than the people that are flowing in. They're coming from Asia. They're coming from the Middle East. They're coming from all over the world, coming from Africa. And we're not going to stand for it anymore. As a country, we're not going to stand for it anymore. They're destroying our country. And we built think of it, we had the safest border. 3 years ago, we had the safest border in the history of our country. Now we have the worst border in the history of the world. There's never been a country ever, third world countries, they've never been like this. They would have fought with sticks and stones. They didn't need rifles. We have the best in the world, but we let everyone, because we're fools. Either they want to destroy our country or they're stupid. And I don't think they're stupid, because anybody that can cheat on elections like they do is not stupid. That means they want to destroy our country. But who can win an election when you have that? Who can win an election when you have high interest rates, you can't buy a home, where you have bad education, where everything's woke? We did things that nobody can imagine. So many things. 1,000 elements we did. We have a book, the 1,000 things. We did things that nobody could even imagine. And then all of a sudden, something very bad happened. Israel would have never happened. The attack on Israel would have never happened. Remember, Iran was broke. They were broke. Ukraine would have never happened. I talked to Putin a lot. I got along with him well. Although he did announce the other day that he'd much rather see Biden as president. And I agree with him. I agree. Because, you know, I ended Nord Stream, right? I ended Nord Stream. Nobody ever heard of Nord Stream 2. That's the biggest pipeline in the world. Going into Germany, what's that all about? We defend Germany and Europe, and then they go and pay billions of dollars to the people that we're defending them against. How do you figure that one, right? And I stopped it. It was over. And then Biden comes in, and within 3 days he approves Nord Stream. But he kills Keystone Pipeline, right? He kills Keystone. He approves the Russian pipeline, the biggest in the world. Billions and billions of dollars a month come flowing in. But he ends the Keystone XL pipeline. And then they say, Trump is too nice to Russia. I'm nice. I'm the one that gave him the 100 javelins, the thousands of javelins that knocked out the tanks, but they knocked out 100 tanks in the first 2 days with javelins that I gave. Remember, they said Obama gave pillows and Trump gave javelins. And then they say, oh, Trump was so nice to Russia. No. Putin would say, if you're being nice, I hate like hell to think of what you'd be if you were not nice. But we were tough, and we were smart, and we were right. We were right just on everything. We were right. And what they've done is unthinkable. What they did with the border, allowing these people to flow in, is unbelievable. But to achieve a great future, we first have to throw off the chains of our out-of-control political class, and that begins with telling crooked Joe Biden, you remember The Apprentice? Crooked Joe Biden, you're fired. Get out of here. Get the hell, you're destroying our country. You're fired, Biden. Get the hell out of here. Right? Get the hell out of here, this guy. He goes after his political opponents. Let's go after them. See if you can indict him so that maybe we can win. A little bit of a backlash when the numbers go up. But anybody that does that and all these other things they've done, they're destroying our country. We're not respected anywhere anymore. We're laughed at. We've become a joke as a country. For years, you've watched as the entire Washington cesspool has been feeding on the wealth and hopes and dreams of hardworking Americans, really hardworking Americans. They've feasted on the profits of job-killing trade deals. They've gorged themselves on the spoils of endless wars. And now what they crave, they want it so badly, is permanent political power and dominance for whatever reason. They're sickos, that's why. In 2016, we gave these corrupt insiders their chance to change, and with Biden, they answered with hoaxes and witch hunts, censorship, lockdowns, and with total repression. 8 years later, the swamp has rejected your righteous pleas to reform, and we have to do this, and we're going to reform, and we're going to have freedom again. We're going to have freedom again. We do not have freedom, and we have the most corrupt press anywhere. These people are corrupt. They are corrupt. Not all of them, about 92%. No, you have some wonderful journalists, you really do, but they're just overwhelmed by the people that know they're doing so wrong. I watch ABC, CBS, NBC. I mean, it's so, I don't even talk about CNN because nobody watches them anymore. MSDNC is horrible, horrible. But fortunately, not a lot of people are watching them anymore. They've tuned out. But the press has to straighten itself out. You know, they're all doing badly, and they're doing badly because they're fake news. That was another one we called, right? Fake news. The only problem with that term, it's not strong enough. I wish it was stronger. At the ballot box this November, it's you and the people you have to be, and we'll deliver a reckoning like they haven't even imagined before. We're going to straighten out our country. We're going to bring our country back. For hardworking Americans, November 5th will be our new Liberation Day, but for the liars and cheaters and fraudsters and censors and imposters who have commandeered our government, it will be their Judgment Day. Their Judgment Day. When we win, the curtain closes on their corrupt reign and the sun rises on a bright new future for America. That's what we have to have. I believe it's our last chance. You know, I used to say how important in 2016 that you got to do it. It's the most important election. I meant it, but that was nothing compared to where we are now. We had a big border problem, and I solved it. So much so that in 2020, I couldn't even mention it. I'd say, let's talk about the border. Sir, you've solved that problem. You don't have a border. I don't care. I want to talk about the border. I talk about the border. Everybody would sit there. They wouldn't even say anything because we had no problem. I solved it. But who would have thought that now we have a border problem that's 20 times worse than what we had in 2016? 20 times. And we'll solve that one too. But it's going to have to be very strong action, and it's going to have to happen fast before our country is just totally overwhelmed. Your victory will be our ultimate vindication. Your liberty will be our ultimate reward, and the unprecedented success of the United States of America will be my ultimate and absolute revenge. That's what I want. Success will be our revenge. I love those young people over there. But have you seen, the closer we get to this magnificent liberation of our country, the more desperate the Biden regime's evil persecution against us has become. They become more and more violent. The Stalinist show trials being carried out at the Joe Biden orders set fire not only to our system of government, but to hundreds of years of Western legal tradition. You see what's happening. They've replaced law, precedent, and due process with a rabid mob of radical left Democrat partisans masquerading as judges and juries and prosecutors and executioners. That's what they are. I've gone through trials. The level of hatred from these judges, there's no way you get fair trials. The level of hatred from prosecutors, when they know you've done nothing wrong, it's sick. These are sick people. The only crime I've ever committed is defending America and those who want to destroy it. I will fight those who want to destroy it. And they're very angry at me because I won an election that wasn't supposed to happen, and they were caught off guard. And they said, we'll never let that happen again. And in 2020, they cheated like dogs, and we all know it. We all know it. For that and that alone, Biden and his deranged prosecutors, attorney generals, local district attorneys are trying to take away my liberty. They're trying to take it away. They're trying to steal my liberty. If there's any shred of justice left, they will fail and we will win. And so far, we're doing very nicely. Thank you. But I would rather lose my freedom than surrender to this group of thugs and tyrants, fascists, scoundrels, and rogues. The more the corrupt establishment tries to stop us, the more you know the day is near at hand when we will break free from their grip. We're going to break free very soon. We're going to break free from their grip very soon. You heard the J6 hostages, didn't you? You heard that. And I will tell you, there's never been in the history of our country a group of people treated the way they've been treated. There's never been anything like it. Carpenters, mechanics, lawyers, firemen, policemen, military people. They went to protest a rigged election, and they've been sentenced to years in prison. When they burn down Portland and they take over a vast section of Seattle and they burn down Minneapolis, and I had to watch television as a CNN reporter is standing saying, this is a peaceful protest. I'd like to say, this is a peaceful protest. And the whole damn city behind him is burning to the ground. Did you remember that? As far as the eye could see, Minneapolis burning to the ground. This is a peaceful protest. And then he got hit on the knee and he went down. It was crazy. No, it's crazy what's going on. And I tell you what, if I didn't bring in the National Guard, because the governor didn't want to do it, they'd never want to do it. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, I wish I didn't wait 6 days, but if I didn't bring in the National Guard, you wouldn't even have a city there. You wouldn't even have, that city was going down. They'll only motivate us more to make America great again. We have to make America great again. That's our mission. People say, what is your mission, sir? I remember when Ted Kennedy, he was actually a friend of mine, slightly different viewpoint on life, but he was a friend. But they asked him a question. It took him down. What plans do you have for America? Why are you running? And somehow, you know, that's a much harder question than you think because, you know, you're answering all the little details. Then they ask, what are your plans for America? It took him down, actually took him down. I just say, my plans are very simple. Make America great again. That's all I say. Make America great again. Very simple. Thank you, Gordon. The first and most urgent action when we win will be the sealing of the border, stopping the invasion, drill, baby, drill, send Joe Biden's illegal aliens back home. We'll do all of those things, and we're going to have to do them fast because no country can sustain what's happening in our country. You look at New York, where I originally came from. I love New York. And you take a look at what's happening. Hundreds of thousands of people. They've taken over the streets, Madison Avenue. They've taken over Queens. They've taken over Brooklyn and the Bronx. They've taken over the whole city. The little leaguers can't play anymore because people are there that can't play. But it took longer than I thought, but I predicted this. It's called the migrant crime, and it's far more deadly than anybody thought. They will actually have fistfights with police in the middle of the street. You saw that the other day, where they attacked police. Even our bad criminals, they never had fistfights with a cop. You know, they do things and they talk and they shout, but these guys are actually, and you know the interesting thing? In their country, if they ever did that, they'd be dead within seconds. They'd be dead. I know where they come from. I know the people that run those countries. I know the presidents and the dictators. I know every one of them. Some are dictators, some are prime ministers. But they're tough guys. They're tough guys. And those thugs that gave the middle finger to our police and then started fighting them and actually threw 2 of them down and started beating the hell out of them, although they fought back bravely, the 2. But these are tough people, and they know that in their country they'd be dead within minutes. They would be dead as a doornail within minutes. And so they came over here. So it took a long time, but now it's talking. Now you're seeing it. It's migrant crime. It's a new category of crime. And I wanted to call it Biden migrant crime, but it's too long. So we just call it migrant crime. We have a new category, migrant crime, and it's going to be more severe than violent crime and crime as we knew it, because we have millions and millions of people, and they came from prisons and jails. They came from mental institutions and insane asylums. No, they're not the same thing. An insane asylum is a mental institution on steroids, okay? It's Silence of the Lambs, okay? You know that. Hannibal Lecter. They're all being deposited into our country, and then you have terrorists, and then you have drugs, and then you have human traffickers, and they're coming over at levels never seen before. We've never seen anything like this. 3 years ago, we had the safest and most secure border in U.S. history. We ended catch and release, except when it was catch and release in Mexico. We had catch and release in our country. We built 571 miles of border wall, far more than I said I was going to build, and I couldn't get the damn thing through Paul Ryan. He stopped at Paul Ryan, a super rhino. He's a super rhino. I couldn't get it through Paul Ryan. Mitch McConnell. They said, sir, if you wait till next year. I said, you sure? They said, don't forget I had never done this stuff before. You know, I'm the president, and these guys are bullshitting me. They said, sir, if you would just sign this budget and wait, next year we'll put it, and then next year came. I said, where's my wall? They said, sir, we're not going to be able to get it. You know, in the meantime, they give trillions of dollars to the Democrats for the Green New Scam. So what I did is I approved the military, and I took it out of the military. That's how I built it. I built the wall through the military. And the military, by the way, the Army Corps of Engineers did a great job. But I built it through 571 miles and 200 miles ready to go. It was laying there ready to be installed. It would have been 3 weeks. The entire thing would have been double what I promised. And then we had the rigged election, and they said, we don't want to build the wall. We don't want to build it. And I said, you know, they really do want open walls. I figured it was maybe just talk. I said, they really want an open border. Nobody could understand it. They really want an open border. And that's when it began, and that's when our country had really, because we can look, we can drill, we have more energy, we have more liquid gold than any other country. We can drill, we can do all of these things. But we have a problem because we have, by the time this guy, trying to be nice, but I don't have to be nice anymore because he indicted me. But I'm trying to be nice anyway. But by the time this guy gets out of office, we'll have 18 million people, in my opinion, in our country that shouldn't be here. And they do come from prisons and mental institutions, and they are terrorists. And we're going to be paying a price, and it will be the largest deportation in the history of our country. And we have no choice. And it's not a nice thing to say, and I hate to say it. And those clowns in the media will say, oh, he's so mean. He's so, no, they're killing our people. They're killing our country. They're killing our people. We have no choice. You know, when I went to Mexico, I said, Mr. President, you're going to have to give us 28,000 soldiers because the caravans, that was another name I came up with. I come up with good names. Longtime politicians come to see me, sir, could you give a name to my opponent? I said, how long are you a politician? 28 years, sir. You can't come up with your own names, but I do. Caravan. But I went to the president of Mexico. I said, they're coming through your country, and thousands of people in these caravans. They have one coming up now, supposedly 25,000 people. They're going to walk right into our country. We have no idea who the hell they are. But it started with Honduras. It started with El Salvador. They just started, but now we're equal opportunity. We have every country. We have countries that, honestly, nobody has ever heard of. We have languages coming into our country We don't have one instructor in our entire nation that can speak that language. These are languages. It's the craziest thing. They have languages that nobody in this country has ever heard of. It's a very horrible thing. I said to the president of Mexico, you're going to have to give us 28,000 soldiers free of charge. No, 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 Donald, I will not do that. I will not do that. I cannot do that. And I said, no, no, you will, I promise. Are you going to do it? No, 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 I will not do it. I said, listen, you and I friends, I really like him a lot. So I said, let's not you and I. Just give me a negotiator because I don't want to do this with you. And he said, I will do that. And he sent me this very handsome guy, so handsome, so beautifully dressed. In fact, I asked him for the name of his tailor. Then when I found out how much he paid for the suit, I said, forget it, keep it. But he was a handsome devil. And I said, listen, you're going to have to do a few things. You're going to have to give me 28,000 soldiers. You know, Tom Homan was up before. He's fantastic. And he does go around saying, I love this guy. He says, Trump was the greatest president in history, and on the border, there has never been in his lifetime any president that was even close. And he's right about that. He's right. I mean, we know the results. But Brandon Judd, you have unbelievable people. All they had to do is leave it alone. But I said, you have to give us 28,000 soldiers. No. Then the new guy comes in, the representative. Yes, sir, what can I do? Now, I asked Tom Homan, Brandon Judd, and a person from the State Department, a wonderful woman. She's been there for over 20 years. She's covered Mexico for over 20 years. She knew it, and she was competent. She was good. She wasn't a good negotiator. And I said, what would you like? Give me your top. I want a top 10 list. Well, sir, we'd like to remain in Mexico, but we've been trying to get that for years. You won't be able to get that, and you won't be able to get a catch and release in Mexico. You know, we have catch and release, and we catch a criminal and we release him in our country. I said, no, no. Catch and release is fine in Mexico. Title 42, I want. That's with the sick people and with the children. You've got to get the children back to their parents. All of these things. They gave me a list. But they thought they were wasting time. It was a list of 10 things, tough things. Just ask Tijuana if they were tough. Tijuana became one of the largest cities in the world all of a sudden. They said, what the hell is going on? So this guy comes in, and I say, look, number one, I want 28,000 soldiers free of charge. And he goes, oh, we're not going to do that. We're not doing it. He thought I was crazy, by the way. I said, oh, no, you're going to do it, 100%. No, no, we're not going to do it. I said, you're going to do it. I guarantee you, you're going to do it. He goes, no way. I said, way. And he said, we will not do that, sir. We will not do that. I said, here's what else you're going to do. Remain in Mexico. Nobody comes into our country until they're checked at the border. You're going to do remain in Mexico. You're going to do catch and release into Mexico, not into our country. You're going to do all sorts of things. You know, we had a lot of medical problems. People were coming in deathly sick with a disease, highly contagious disease. I said, I don't want our people catching these diseases that we never even heard about. They have diseases nobody's ever even heard about. I'm sorry. I feel badly for the people, but we don't want to have this contagion in our country. I'm sorry. And we did that. So we had a list of these 10 things, one tougher than the next. And he said, we're not even going to think about this. And the person from the State Department, this really good woman, but she said, sir, you're just going to be wasting your time. And I said, all right. I said, I'll make you a little bet. I'll bet you I get all 10 within minutes. And she thought I was crazy, too. So after he said, no way, I said, way. And then I said, here is what's going to happen. If you don't approve this and if you don't give us those soldiers, and their soldiers are not politically correct. You know, our soldiers, if you say, excuse me, madam, you're not supposed to be entering our country. Ma'am, please don't enter our country. Then they get indicted because they talk to her too rough, you know. We have the greatest soldiers in the world, but they're not allowed to do their job. I proved that with ISIS. Our soldiers knocked the hell out of ISIS once I took over and took it away from our fake television generals. We have great generals, but not the ones like Milley and these guys on television. They're fake. I had generals that were really tough. I had generals that I had to hold back, okay? We have great military, and it's only woke at the top. I don't think it can ever be wokenized at the lower levels, because these are great people, tough people. I really don't believe they could do it. It was only at the top. And remember, when I let them go, 4 weeks. We were told 4 years, and it probably can't be done. I knocked it out in 4 weeks. Our military is great. I said to one of the generals, "What's your name?" "Kane, sir. My name is Kane." He looked better than any movie actor you could get. "My name is Kane, sir." I said, "All right, Kane. What's your first name?" "They call me Raisin." I said, "What?" "Raisin, sir." "Your name is Raisin Kane?" "Yes, sir." "I love you. You're the man I'm looking for. You're the man I'm looking for." And I said, "Why is ISIS so tough?" He said, "They're not tough, sir. They just don't let us do our job." I said, "Why not?" He said, "Because this is after I flew to Iraq. You know, I flew to Iraq in a plane. Some of you know the story. It was all dark after spending 20 years and $1 trillion. We can't turn the lights on in a plane. I sat with the pilots, the most handsome human beings I've ever seen. It's not my thing, but they're handsome. Not my thing. Not even a little bit, but they are handsome. Central casting. Better looking than Tom Cruise and taller. Okay, let's do it. So, I'll deviate on the story. Now, by the way, when I deviate, they'll say, "Oh, he went from..." No, no. A really smart person can go through various stories, always come back and conclude everything. Okay. Don't worry, we'll get back to Mexico. But this is almost, right now this is more exciting. So the plane's off. I say, "Why are you doing that?" "Because, sir, we're flying over an area that's very dangerous, where we spent 20 years eradicating." And so I said, "I want to go sit with the pilots," because I often do that. And I'm sitting with the pilots, and I get up there, I'm feeling my way up. And the plane was absolutely dark, no lights on the outside, no lights on the inside. It was a little spooky. We're up there 40,000 feet getting ready to start going down, and they're telling us we can't have any lights. No lights in your cabin, sir." And then they pull down the shades anyway. So I'm sort of feeling my way. I get up there, and I see this captain with the crew cut, the whole deal he's got. "Yes, sir, it's an honor to be with you, sir." And I said, "Captain, I don't see any lights. You know, we're getting close. Is there a problem out there, Captain?" "No, sir, we'll be landing in less than 30 minutes, sir." I say, "All right." And I'm sitting in a seat that's right in the back between these two handsome human beings. And, you know, they always give the best pilots, Air Force One and Marine One, the helicopters you have, which is good. One thing you know, you got great pilots. These are the best. And so he said, "No problem, sir. We'll be landing in a little while." And then 10 minutes go by, 15 minutes. I haven't seen one light. There's nothing. It's like, and I'm getting a little nervous. You know, do you ever see? I'm trying to act cool as a cucumber. And it's, if you know anything about planes, you have the I call it the computer voice. It's the most beautiful voice. If I had that voice, I would have been president 20 years earlier. But the most beautiful voice, so professional. 1,000. That means you're 1,000 feet over the ground. Now, I haven't seen a light. I haven't seen anything. It's just dead. There's not anything. That means we're like really low. We have this massive plane, and we're just right off the ground. Then it goes 900, 800, 700, 600. Now we're 600 feet off the ground. We're flying in. The plane is dark with the exception of a tiny little light that they've got on their dashboard underneath everything and totally concealed. There's not a light anywhere. I've never seen anything. It was like dark. 500. I said, "Captain, are we okay, Captain? Everything fine?" "Yes, sir. No problem. We'll be on the ground in just a few minutes, sir." I say, "What ground?" So 400, 300, 200. "Captain, are we okay?" "Yes, sir. We'll be landing momentarily, sir." 100. Now, usually when you're in these planes, I do it a lot, you have lights bursting, burst big lights. You got a runway. It's lit up like a candle. There's not one light. There's not even a little, what they call a pigeon light. That's a tiny little light. 100. And I want to ask him again, but I want to show some bravery. Because I thought we were going down for the count. And then all of a sudden, and it's genius, there is no light. And then all of a sudden, 100, and then bing, beautiful landing like nothing to it. Sir, it was an honor to be with you today, sir. Thank you, Captain. Does anybody have a towel? I'm saying, does anybody have a towel? I need a towel. So now I'm walking out and getting ready to go down and meet the generals in Iraq to find out why we're not defeating ISIS. And I see my staff, and I say, that was quite an experience I just had. Yes, sir, a great landing. They said, yeah, what was it? And I said, let me ask you a question. Is the President of the United States allowed to give himself the Congressional Medal of Honor for bravery? Because I did a very brave thing. I was so brave. Am I allowed to do it? And they said, sir, it would not be a good thing to do. Now, here's the problem with that story. The fake news media will lead tomorrow. Donald Trump wanted to give himself the Congressional Medal of Honor. It's true. It's true. When I imitate Biden, who can't find the stairs ever. You know, you have so many stairs in it. You got one there, you got ramps, you got everything. Here you only have 2 or 3 stairs. Sometimes you have 6, 7 stairs. The craziest thing, what a waste of money. My father would say, what the hell are they doing? All you need is 1 stair. But for Biden, you need many. But when I imitate him with the stairs, because he never can find his way. If you ever see Secret Service runs up and grabs him and, you know, helps him off the stage. This is what we have negotiating nuclear weapons. So he finishes his speech, and do you ever notice? He finishes it. The speeches last about, would you say, average 2-3 minutes, right? Very quick. They're very quick and not good. Not good. But the press gives him good marks. I remember when he made such a bad State of the Union speech. Everything was stumbling, mumbling. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. And I said, I'm going to watch CNN, MSDNC to find out what they say, because that was one of the worst speeches. They said, not since FDR has there been a speech so magnificently delivered. I'm telling you, I've never, ever forgotten it. Not since FDR. I said, it's impossible. They're fake. They're terrible. But you know what? When he goes, and he always points, he goes like this. Thank you. Where am I? Thank you. And then he goes. And he points. You ever notice? And it's always he ends up going in the opposite direction ultimately. But he goes, and then sometimes he trips over them. And then we don't have it here. But if there's a wall behind him, he ends up walking into the wall. And then one of these incredible guys from Secret Service, all these beautiful guys, they run up stage. Look at these guys, like central casting, right? They'll run up stage, they'll grab them, and they're not meant to smile. You know, they're very hard line. When I tell stories, they're like this. I guess they're trained that way. They never smile. You say, good morning. Well, sure. They actually turn away. It's good. This way you don't have to say good morning all the time, okay? No, they train them this way. But so one of these guys will run up and grab him and take him off the stage. This is what we have as our president. But the worst thing is when I do that, the fake news, I call up my wife, our great first lady. She was a great first. People love her. Yeah, people love her. Oh, look at that. Wow. Mercedes, that's pretty good. Yeah, she's good. And she loves our country, and she loves the people. It's true. When I give these big rallies, we give rallies, they say, we love our First Lady. They have signs, we love her. They always show a high heel, you know. But we love our First Lady. But I call up our First Lady, I say, so, baby, how good was that? She goes, you were okay. She's a very tough critic. I'll go into a group, I'll speak in front of 55, 56, 68,000 people sometimes. I'll call her up, I'll say, how good was I tonight? Was that unbelievable? She goes, well, your hair didn't look good. Oh, that's not good. But it's very hard to get like, you know, once in a while she goes, you were really good tonight, but that's like a major. But I said, in this case, I said, how good was that tonight? She said, you were really good tonight, but what happened? You couldn't find your way off the stage. Because the fake news said Donald Trump couldn't find his way off the stage. I said, wow. Or when I interject a name, like I go, our president, Barack Hussein Obama. Rush Limbaugh, remember? He would always, right, Seb? Rush would go, Barack Hussein. You couldn't hear Barack or Obama, but the name Hussein, he'd be screaming. I don't know exactly what he meant by that. I think I do. But he'd go, Barack Hussein. So I'd go, Barack Hussein Obama, our president, has done this. Now, I meant that because there are those people that say he's running our country because Joe is not strong on aptitude. So there are those. We don't know that that's true. But they go out and they say, Donald Trump, headline. Donald Trump doesn't know who the president of our country. He thinks Obama's the president, Lou. Look at the great Lou Dobbs. He thinks Obama is the president. So when I'm sarcastic, because I'm sort of a sarcastic guy, I find humor in sarcasm, but it's very dangerous to do because they take it very seriously. But it's a very serious subject because of what happened. To finish the first story, what happened? Hey, by the way, isn't this better than reading off a frickin' teleprompter? Right? Right? Anybody can do that except for Biden. Anybody can read off a teleprompter except for Biden. He can't do that either. He can't do that either. He asks questions. News conference. Hey, when I'm in a news conference, people with these maniacs, these lunatics are screaming at me. They're just screaming like crazy. And, you know, you take them, and I love it. You know, it's like a mental challenge. It's horrible people. But they're screaming, and you're answering, and you're getting them. And then sometimes they get in trouble because they said you were too tough, or you were too nasty, too this. The people don't like that. I understand that, too. But he asks, like, a question, and it's, Bob from NBC. Okay. Mr. President, sir, we just wanted to know, are you feeling well, and was everything good? And did you have ice cream today? Then he picks up the paper, and he reads the answer. Yes, it was vanilla. No, but think, they ask him questions and they give him an answer. That never happened to me, right? I walk out there and it's like a free-for-all. But it's a sad thing. Okay, so now I go off and watch. You know this is all genius, okay? You do know. I hope you know. I always say my uncle was the longest-serving professor in the history of MIT, Dr. John Trump. We have a lot of great aptitude. They'll say, he rambled. Nobody can ramble like this. Nobody. If they did, they wouldn't even try. You know what? They go step by step, and they would never get off that sucker. They go step by step. But what happens, and it's very interesting, we get on the plane, we get off. Now I've just learned that I should not give myself the Congressional Medal of Honor. My people are saying, can you believe he asked that question? But we get off the plane, and I'm walking down. I'm going down this big ramp. I took the high stair, you know. I don't like the children. We call it the children's. I never had a problem with it, but I'm walking down, and I'm looking down, and I see these central casting people. A general, another general, a colonel, a staff sergeant could be in any movie. These guys, it's like perfect. They're like perfect individuals. If I were casting a movie on the military, I would pick these guys. There's nobody you could hire in Hollywood that looks like this. So I walked down, and this is where I met General Raisin Kane. And what's your name? General, what's your name? And he gave me his name. What's your name, Sergeant? Yes, sir, and I love you, sir. I think you're great, sir. I'll kill for you, sir. Then he puts on a Make America Great Again hat. You're not allowed to do that, but they did it. I remember I went into the hangar, and there were hundreds of troops. And they're not supposed to do this, but they all put on the Make America Great Again hat. Right? Not supposed to do it. I said, you're not supposed to do that. You know that. They said, it's okay, sir. We don't care. We don't care. And I met these people, and I said, so what do you think, General, sir? Would you like to rest up? See, this is before Biden. See, if I had Biden, I'd say, I'm not Biden. But we didn't know how bad he would be because we hadn't been tested yet. Sir, I said, he said, would you like to rest up for a little while? Then we'll have a meeting. We're all set. And this place is like all bunkers. No windows, no nothing. It's all bunkers, real stark, but beautiful in a certain way. Billions and billions of dollars that cost many years ago. And I said, no, I'm okay, General. Let's get the business. He was probably surprised. So we started. I say, so General Mattis and all these guys that tell me back in Washington that it'll take 4 or 5 years to defeat ISIS. Why? Sir, it's not true, sir. It's not true. I said, what's not true? We can do it very quickly. How quickly? 4 weeks, sir. Wait a minute. I was told 4 years, and you might not be able to. Sir, we can have it done in 4 weeks. Why? How? What were they doing? Sir, it's our job as a soldier. When they come in from Washington, they're a higher rank. We respect them. We have to respect them. That's our job. I understood exactly what he was saying. He said, sir, when they come in, they tell us what to do, and we do it. I say, don't you question what this? No, sir, we don't question. They came in, they had a plan, and we said we'd do that plan. What was wrong with the plan? We attacked from way far away, sir, and only one place. It happened to be here. We're hundreds of miles away. By the time the planes got there, they practically had to go back and refuel. I said, what would you do, General? You don't mind if I tell you, sir, do you? He said, I don't mind. I'm waiting to hear. He said, sir, we have auxiliary ports, and we have runways all over the place. They're portables. We call them portables. We put them up faster. We take them down even faster. And they're damn good, sir. What I'd do is I'd hit him from 9 different locations. I'd hit him from the left. Now he's getting excited. I'd hit him from the right. I'd hit him from up top. I'd go